Hi, so it's time for Back in the Library, and we're going to read the classic tale of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sandbank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. "Now, my dears," said old Mrs. Rabbit one morning, "you may go in the field or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden, for your father had an accident there. He was put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor. Now, run along and don't get into mischief. I'm going out." Then old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella and went through the woods to the baker's. She bought a loaf of brown bread and 5 currant buns. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather blackberries. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. First, he ate some lettuce and some French beans. And then he ate some radishes. And then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But around the end of a cucumber frame, who should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling, "Stop, thief!" Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages and the other shoe among the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster, so that I think he might have got away altogether if he had not unfortunately met and run into a gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. Peter gave himself up for lost and shed some big tears, but his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows who flew to him in great excitement and implored him to exert himself. So, "Oh, please, please, please try." Mr. McGregor came up with a sieve, which he intended to pop over the top of Peter, but Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him, and rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it had not had so much water in it. Oh, he got pretty darn wet, huh? Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, perhaps hidden underneath the flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each. Presently, Peter sneezed. "Achoo!" Mr. McGregor was after him in no time and tried to put his foot upon Peter, who jumped out of a window, upsetting 3 plants. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and he was tired of running after Peter. He went back to his work. Peter got away. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and he had not the least idea which way to go. Also, he was very damp from sitting in that can. After a time, he began to wander about, going lippity-lippity, not very fast, and looking all around. He found a door in a wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. An old mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the wood. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth that she could not answer. She only shook her head at him. Peter began to cry. You're having a bad day, huh? Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. Presently, he came to a pond where Mr. McGregor filled his water cans. A white cat was staring at some goldfish. She sat very, very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twitched as if it were alive. Peter thought it best to go away without speaking to her. He had heard about his cats from his cousin, little Benjamin Bunny. You think they might chase a rabbit? Peter never stopped running. He went back toward the tool shed, but suddenly, quite close to him, he heard the noise of a hoe. Scratch, 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 scratch. Peter scuttered underneath the bushes, but presently, as nothing happened, he came out, climbed up a wheelbarrow, and peeped over. The first thing he saw was Mr. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate. Peter got down very quietly off the wheelbarrow, and he started running as fast as he could go along a straight walk behind some black currant bushes. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter did not care. He slipped under the gate and was safe at last in the woods outside the garden. Mr. McGregor hung up the little jacket and the shoes for a scarecrow to frighten the blackbirds. The blackbirds would think that was a person, that jacket and the shoes. Peter never stopped running or looking behind him till he got home to the big fir tree. He was so tired he flopped down upon the nice soft sand on the floor of the rabbit hole and shut his eyes. His mother was busy cooking. She wondered what he had done with his clothes. It was the second little jacket and pair of shoes that Peter had lost in a fortnight. I am sorry to say that Peter was not very well during the evening. His mother put him to bed and made some chamomile tea, and she gave a dose of it to Peter. 1 tablespoon to be taken at bedtime, but Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail had bread and milk and blackberries for supper. So I guess that's what you got. Not doing what Mama says, huh? So hope you enjoyed that story. And another story, this is about some other animals. It's called Wutaryoo by Nilan Magruder. She was called Wutaryoo, and she lived there in that shallow hole in the earth. She was the only one, and she did not know where she came from. Is that a little hole? She did not know her name either, but now and then a creature would come up upon her and say, Wutaryoo? Wutaryoo did not know how to answer this question, so she would ask it back. Wutaryoo? And the creatures would tell their tales. What am I? I'm the rabbit. In the beginning, the first gardener was digging a hole to plant his cabbages. He dug too deep and hit the very center of the world. And you know what popped out? Rabbits. Now my people hop all over the earth. Wow, thought Wutaryoo. Another story about with rabbits in them, huh? What am I? I'm a wren, queen of the hedge. In the beginning, my people were as large as trees and ruled the world. Our size has grown smaller, but not our might. Magnificent, thought Wutaryoo. Yeah, during the time of the dinosaurs, birds were a lot bigger. What am I? If I am the wolf, I am the wolf. In the beginning, my people were born in midnight. But now we run and hunt together, and at night we sing our thanks to the heavens. Wondrous, thought Wutaryoo. What would be more wondrous, though? Was it Wutaryoo could share her own story? She had a story to share. She didn't know anything about herself or her people. Every day, creatures large and small regaled her with their tales. The bullfrog, the fox, the elephant, the honeybee, the tortoise, and finally the great whale, oldest and wisest of them all. One night, Wutaryoo looked up at the moon. What am I? Who are my people? Where did I come from? Surely I have a story too. But the moon did not know either. The next morning, Wutaryoo started walking and did not stop. Her friends had all come from someplace else. If Wutaryoo could find where she came from, maybe her story would be waiting there. I will search far and wide, she said to herself. I will go all the way to the very beginning of the world if I have to. She's determined, huh? Wutaryoo journeyed under tall trees, through dense grass, and over rolling hills. She walked until she could walk no more. So she swam. On strange shores, she found a creature she had never seen before. I am the dodo. I have seen many suns rise and set over these islands, but I have never seen a creature like you. What is your story? I don't know, said Wutaryoo, but I will soon. Wutaryoo continued on over rising terrain until she reached mountains too tall to climb. Maybe that stopped her, you think? So she dug deep in the earth. She found a creature she had never seen before. I am called the dragon, the terrible lizard, and many other names. My bones are spread far and wide through this earth, but I have never seen a creature like you. What is your story? I don't know, said Wutaryoo, but I will very soon. Wutaryoo continued on, deeper and deeper and deeper still, until it was so dark she could no longer see. So she closed her eyes. I can't see, might as well have to close my eyes. I'll get less dirt in them. But when she opened them, there was a tiny, very tiny light. She crawled toward it and found a creature she had never seen before. What that creature be, do you think? I am the protozoan, it said to her. I have been here since the beginning. I have seen it all, more than I could ever tell, but I have never seen a creature like you. Oh, said Wutaryoo, you have come a long way to find me. Tell me, have you discovered what you were searching for? Not yet, but I think I'm getting closer now. Wutaryoo walked farther than she had ever walked, and the land grew sparser than it had ever grown. I am coming to the very beginning of the world, she thought. My story must be over the last hill. She's not giving up. Wutaryoo climbed the hill and came down the other side. But there was no story there, and Wutaryoo had found, all she had found was a shallow hole, her shallow hole. She had come right back to where she had started. Oh my gosh. Is that discouraging or what? Sad and tired, Wutaryoo curled up. Just as she was falling asleep, she heard her name. Wutaryoo! Wutaryoo! Her friends surrounded her. Here it is, thought Wutaryoo. The same old question. They will ask her what she is, and she will have to confess, I don't know. I don't know what I am. I don't know where I came from. Perhaps I come from nowhere. Perhaps I am nothing. She's nothing. But before she could say these things, her friends asked questions Wutaryoo had not heard before. Are you all right? Where did you go? What did you see? What did you hear? For none of them had traveled as far or as long as Wutaryoo. Surprised her. Some different questions. So Wutaryoo told them about her adventures, how far she had walked, swam, dug, and crawled, about the creatures she had met, strange, terrible, and wonderful, and how her long journey over hills, across oceans, and under mountains had finally brought her home. At the end, her friends were very quiet, taking it all in. What are they going to think of this tale? What do you think? Then the whale, oldest and wisest of them all, said, "Now, Wutaryoo, that is a wonderful story indeed." The creatures nodded. "Tell it again." And Wutaryoo did. That's the end. So she was trying to find out who she was, where she came from. She was trying to find her story. And it ended up being, she didn't find the story of where she came from or who she was. But in the process of looking, she had a lot of adventures. And so she had a story now. It was just a different story. It wasn't about who she was or where she came from. It was about what she did. I hope you enjoyed that story. And we started late because I had some problems with the camera. And I had to switch out. I tried a couple different cameras, and so it was a delay switching it out, trying to get it to work, trying to change the settings. But anyway, so we're late because that's the way technology is sometimes. Doesn't happen the way you think it will or should. So this is Bonnie Baldoff wishing you a happy and healthy day. Thank you. Join me for Grandma Reads a Story tomorrow at 3:30. Bye.